Well, first of all, welcome to I was about to say welcome to the OC bitches, but we're beyond the OC now. This is the title we're working with because we like to talk about things beyond the show. But are we ever really over it? No, because
nope, we'll never be over the OC.
No,
I won't.
No,
at least I won't.
I miss the paychecks. Melinda, you?
Right?
I miss my mom's paychecks.
Well, yeah, private school. That's what.
CG, was your mom on the OC?
Wait, were you?
No.
Oh, right. You're the one who made out with the 18-year-old. I forgot.
Wait, hold everything.
Yeah.
Is this your daughter?
This is CG, my daughter.
Holy guaca.
Wait,
moly.
you didn't know?
I did not. No, there's no way you can be that old.
Who did you think I was?
Just some rando, like, tech chick. Oh, fuck. See, I was going to try to behave, and I'm already off.
Some random tech chick.
Like wow.
I love it.
I thought you were joking, like, oh, wait, was your mom on the OC?
No.
I'm like, yeah, that one.
I didn't know Kelly Rowan had, like, a 20-year-old.
Oh my gosh, you guys, we are talking with Patrick Rush, the casting director, and he just realized
that's incredible.
The 3-year-old that used to be around on the OC.
Forgive me for not recognizing you.
Yeah, right? Oh
now, how old are you, CG?
I'm 24 now.
Oh, Lord and Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so, yeah.
Okay, now I see. You're so beautiful, like your mom.
Thank you. You're like, oh, now that I know
why don't we
you're
just
related,
why don't we just say
it.
the first thing I said when I saw CG? Like, she should be on the reboot of the new OC.
Right?
Right, not knowing she's your daughter.
Coming from a casting director there, CG.
I think I'd be a really good Summer.
Really? Because
or Taylor.
You're a good Taylor.
I'm a good Summer or Taylor.
You're a meddler.
I am a meddler, but I can't be Marissa. I'm not.
You're not that vulnerable.
No. And I was going to say something, but it's kind of mean.
You can say whatever you want.
Like, I'm not that whiny.
I love it. Listen,
Patrick's like,
I've done these where Melinda's had to call me after and says, do you want us to cut that line? You have.
Yes, we've got a few things that, you had an interesting year this year, but we won't mention why.
That's the only time my name has ever been on Deadline.com.
So are we not allowed to talk about it?
We're not talking about it.
Okay, that's okay. Listen, you guys, I'm just going to fill you in really quick because I have a feeling this is exactly what's going to. Our special guest is our beloved casting director and friend Patrick Rush. And in addition to casting the OC, Patrick cast Everwood, which he cast me in and helped me get the OC. Supernatural, Dawson's Creek, Chuck. Did that one with you too. Runaways, and so many more. And if you haven't heard or seen Patrick in Welcome to the OC Bitches, I suggest you go back and listen. It's The Model Home, Season 1, Episode 2, and The Way We Were, Season 2, Episode 2. You never know what will come out of his mouth because he's hilarious and entertaining. Welcome, Patrick. That was my intro. Sorry. I don't even know how to talk anymore. Because CG, so we're doing this countdown, Patrick, just kind of as an extension, a little spin-off of the podcast. And one of the things that we're doing is we're listening to the old podcast to see if we missed something because the show is so beloved. A lot of times we miss things in the first episodes. And we had to listen to one of the episodes that you were in. CG called me. She's like, that guy's hilarious. I want to meet him. And on.
I'm like, Mom, he needs to be on here again. That guy's so funny.
I'm legit like Sophia from the Golden Girls. Like, I've had a stroke and I just say shit. And I spent 15 minutes before I logged on going, Patrick, behave. No. Don't say anything.
Don't behave. I don't behave. CG, we can do it together.
CG, this is the only way I make Deadline is because I say shit I'm not supposed to.
Oh, man.
I don't think it was that bad.
Well, don't say anything that'll make you make Deadline, but besides that, please misbehave.
At least I made Deadline finally.
Well, it's crazy that you said it on our podcast first, then you said it in the book, and it was some podcaster who had to say it out loud, and then this is how they find news. They just find sound bites from podcasts, and that becomes news.
But here's the thing. Also, when the guy who wrote the book was asking me, he already knew the story.
Yeah, because you'd said it on the podcast.
Right. And the truth is, I tried to say it with kindness and like how heartbreaking it was. And so anyway, I am sorry for bringing that up.
Yeah, no,
I don't even know what you're talking about.
We don't even know what we're talking about. You know what, you sleuths out there, you can go figure it out. But listen, this is like, first of all, just thank you for doing this. And also, we want to say that today we are talking about, what number are we on now?
38.
Season 3, episode 4, The Last Waltz, which is season 3, episode
Wait, did
4.
You just say season 8?
See, did I say that? Season 3.
Wait.
CG, you're the young one and you seem the most drunk.
I'm wasted, Patrick.
Atta girl.
It's 5:00 somewhere, you know?
Season 3, episode 4. And Patrick sends me, and I'm driving home from Orange County, actually, and I see this text, and he's like, what episode are we doing? And I'm trying to dictate in my phone in the car as I'm driving. And he says, well, go with me on this one, hon. Did you know I didn't cast season 3? And I said, yeah. So I looked it up, or I said, yeah, I kind of knew that, but your name is still listed on IMDb. So I thought you may have had something to do with it. And you said that was the year that you were hired as the VP at Warner Brothers of casting?
VP of television casting at Warner Brothers, yeah.
Yeah. So, and you said, and you weren't happy with it or something.
I wasn't good at that job. Okay. I wasn't good at that job. I missed casting. I mean, that job's about putting out fires, and right. I still wanted to light them. I'm still like an arsonist. So I'm just not corporate. And It was lovely. And Mary Buck and Peter Roth, who were awesome, they were lovely. And because I'd had a good run of stuff I had been doing for Warner Brothers, they wanted me to be there. And so I was, and then I missed this.
You liked being in the trenches with the actors.
Correct.
Yeah. Working.
Yeah, here's the thing. Actors are the reason I kept working.
Yeah.
Not agents and managers who are awesome, but, the actors were the reason that I kept getting hired. So, and I missed casting, not overseeing it. But they did let me oversee the casting of this show. And watching the episode, I was reminded about, oh, yeah, I remember when we tested those kids, Ryan and Johnny and Kate, when we brought it in the mini versions of everybody. Yeah.
Oh, the mini versions with the little kids. Yeah. So you still
even the Willa Holland and Lucy Hale people. Yeah.
Right. So I remember in the book you said, and Josh doesn't admit to this, remembering this, that you said that they saw Sebastian Stan for Johnny.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here's why.
So saying you weren't involved in season 3 is your way of being like, I didn't cast Johnny. It wasn't me. All the hate. It wasn't me.
But Sebastian Stan was for the Ryan role, which was the character of Johnny.
Oh.
Right? So here's the thing about
the Johnny character.
No, here's the thing about Sebastian Stan. He went on tape in New York, and New York would send me the auditions, and then I would send them to Barbara Stordahl and Angela Terry. But because I loved the OC, I was watching the New York auditions, and I loved Sebastian. So I sent him directly to Josh and Stephanie and said, take a look at this guy. I think he's great. And so we flew Sebastian Stan from New York to Los Angeles to test. Oh, so he was in the test in Mary Buck's office with Peter Roth and all the executives and everything. But ultimately they chose Ryan.
Oh, so he was part of that group. I totally had it wrong. For some reason I read that it was part of season 3. Okay, good to know.
Wait, I'm really confused. What part was Sebastian Stan up for?
For Ryan.
No. Oh. Ryan Donahue.
Yeah, okay. Ryan Donahue and Sebastian Stan were for the character of John.
Yeah.
Correct, yes.
That's where I got wrong.
There's so many overlaps with the names.
Because of the character names and the actor names, yes. But Sebastian Stan.
So it was Sebastian Stan and Ryan Donahue.
So he was
Donahue.
Yes.
For Johnny's character.
I think is a lovely, lovely actor. I absolutely lovely actor. I just think I think Josh said that at some point they casting him off of tape or something and not seeing Misha's a tall girl. And so there's,
yes,
he looked smaller than her on screen.
And oddly younger, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
He looked very age appropriate.
Yeah. You know what? I got to say in this episode, you guys, because I thought the new characters coming in looked and felt age appropriate, where Ben looked like a 30-year-old. Like you could tell, and I'm not, because he started, but he just had that maturity about him.
Yeah.
And he physically and emotionally had moved on. Admittedly, in the book, had moved on, and he wasn't really in playing a teenager anymore.
Yeah.
You could tell.
And as we go back, as you remember, Melinda, at the pilot, we had cast Misha first, who was 15 when we cast her, 16 when we shot the pilot, but she didn't look 16. She looked early 20s. So we had to cast boys because now that you see Ryan Donahue, however you say his last name, next to her, he was older than her, but he looked younger than her. So it was good. It was really a puzzle.
I think she was 16 when she was cast. She turned cast because her birthday's January 27th, and she turned 17.
The girl, the mean girl in the hallway, looked 40.
I agree. I was like, did this girl get held back like 6 grades or something? Because
I thought she was being harassed by a teacher.
Oh, really? You know who that is? That's Sarah Foster. What's his name? Foster's daughter. David Foster's daughter, who's married to McPhee. The singer.
Yeah, Catherine McPhee.
Who's friends with Rachel, who went to Notre Dame.
To Notre Dame High School. Yeah.
And I went there too.
You did?
Yes, you did. Well, then let me ask you.
So did I.
You went to Notre Dame High School?
Really?
Yes, I graduated in 1979 with the Apostles and Jesus. Yes.
Oh my God.
I went to Notre Dame High School.
Look at
my God.
I'm Sherman Oaks, born and raised.
Oh my God, cute.
So is CG.
I love it. So am I. I'm a Valley girl.
You were behind Whole Foods and I was behind the football field. Yeah, at Notre Dame. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I wasn't. Wait, that sounded bad. My home was behind the football field. I wasn't.
I mean, I was behind the football field sometimes.
Oh gosh, CG. The things I'm learning. CG's whole goal is to make me feel uncomfortable, and it happens every single.
I'm here for you, CG.
Yeah, she does quite a bit of it. But because she's like, you spent years making me uncomfortable, Mom. I'm doing it now.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so CG, you and I both have been deep diving our closets, getting rid of clothes we don't need and don't wear, and it feels really good to shed all that stuff. But considering how much I actually live in activewear, I was really surprised at how many ill-fitting leggings, sports bras, etc. I still had hanging around.
I have so many leggings and sports bras, and now since I've started teaching yoga, I'm going through my activewear like crazy. And 1 week I've gone through everything, and I found myself trying things on I've had for years, and I don't like them. And I've had them for so long. I don't like them. They don't fit. And I don't know why I'm still keeping them around. And it's time to get rid of them. And I need activewear that fits right and looks good and is comfortable.
The all-new Roan Women's Studio Collection is the most comfortable, breathable, and truly versatile activewear out there. It's breathable, it's durable for every single way that you like to move.
There's bras, tank tops, shorts, leggings. I love my tank top with a built-in sports bra and short set. It's thin. I do hot yoga in 95-degree weather. It's good for bar. It's good for Pilates. It's good for cycling. It's good for running. They're good. I wear them all the time. And when I'm in 95-degree heat, I need something thin and comfortable to slick away the heat.
I love that first thing in the morning, I can put on the leggings, the bra, the hoodie, and I can go all day because basically it's anti-odor, keeps me looking and feeling fresh all day long. It's so comfortable. It's easy to wear. It's easy to care. It's easy to wear and care with every single Roan piece. The Roan Women's Studio Collection can get you through any workout and straight into whatever comes next. Head to roan.com/OC and use promo code OC to save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to RHONE.com/OC and use code OC. Roan, for every day, for every you, forever forward. CG, did you know that your cotton pillowcases might be disrupting your sleep?
I actually didn't until you and Patty bought me my first silk pillowcase. And I wake up with my hair feeling softer. I sleep better. My skin is softer. I had no idea.
Get better sleep, hair, and skin with Blissy's award-winning 100% mulberry silk pillowcases. There are so many benefits to using silk. It reduces frizz, tangles, and even helps prevent thinning. It also can help reduce blemishes and the appearance of fine lines.
I'm super, super particular about what goes on my skin. I have very, very sensitive skin, and I made the mistake of getting a dupe satin pillowcase, and if anything, it made my skin worse. And like I said, you and Patty gave me one as a gift. They make phenomenal gifts, and I will never go back to a cotton pillowcase.
I'm also a hot sleeper, and I need the silk. I take my pillow and my Blissy pillowcase with me whenever I travel. Every time I go anywhere overnight. It's also super easy to care for, and it really helps keep this frizzy hair not so frizzy. Blissy's been featured on Good Morning America, The View, Live with Kelly and Mark, and dermatologists recommended. Everybody loves them. They have over 2 million fans, and you could be next. Because you're a listener, Blissy is offering 60 nights risk-free plus an additional 30% off when you shop at blissy.com/OCPod. That's BLISSY.com/OCPod and use code OCPod to get an additional 30% off. Your skin and hair will thank you. Okay, so Patrick, before we get into the episode, I want your take on just the casting, the state of Hollywood right now, which we're all, and the state of just casting right now, because it's changed so much and it's not going to go back, in my opinion. But maybe I'm wrong. What do you think?
It is different. It is different. I think there was a combination of COVID making it different and making it all remote, where I got hired to do, luckily through the COVID thing and when we all started going back to work, I got a lot of work and I was really grateful. But I was hired by producers and directors from Zoom meetings, cast their entire shows, pilots, 7 episodes, 8 episodes, without ever meeting any of them in person. I have worked for people I have not met in person. And because we all had to pivot during that time, and as you know from self-tapes and that sort of stuff, we sort of proved we could do it. And so I don't know now. And then there was the strike and after COVID, and so it feels like there's so many people. Everyone's in a place of fear, and so I don't think any of us do good work. And I'm talking about people texting me going, Paramount's closed, and I'm like, what do you mean Paramount's closed? They're like, oh, they're closing the lot. I don't even know if that's true, but it just feels like, God, Paramount,
right?
With Yellowstone and Top Gun, and they're broke. So I don't even. It's such a different world, and like you, Mindy, I just want to keep working.
Yeah,
I love what I do, and the fact that I get to do this has been, So I miss just the silliness of. I just want to grab you by the cheeks and go, how are you? But it's a different world, and so whatever's next. I'm going to pivot and lean in.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's like what, when you think about the traditional way of doing casting, I'd get the sides, and then if Patrick Rush wants to see you and you go in, might be the next day, might be a couple days later, and you have a relationship and you build a relationship, and your casting director and your actor have a human energy going on between, and you can see that you're a champion, and I don't know, you build these relationships where it might not be the job you end up with, but he's going to remember you for the next one. And do you feel like, as a casting director, these self-tapes, can you tell what people are like if they're brand new to you, for young actors who've never done an in-person audition?
Right.
How does that work?
There is sort of this, I always keep a Post-it on my computer when I'm, watching self-tapes, and it says, I just need one today. I just need one person that I get excited about. I want to send that person to Josh and Stephanie and go, there's something about this person. But, back in the days when you were casting a pilot and you had 7 or 8 roles, and you would see 12 people in the morning, and then you'd grab lunch and you'd see 14 people in the afternoon, and then you'd upload the best people and send them at the end of day. Self-tapes now, I did a pilot and a series for Josh and Stephanie called City on Fire, and when you're doing an in-person pilot, you're seeing less people, but you're spending more time with them. So after 3 weeks, when Warner Brothers calls and says, we want to set up the first test, and you're like, oh, okay, you've seen 100 people. I saw 750 kids for one role on the Apple thing, for the boy lead, and for the girl lead, 940. So, and by the way, CG, look at your eyes. That's how I am at the end of the day.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And what happens is those things start coming in, the appointments you put out at the end of the day, and then at 7:30 at night, you're watching like 100 auditions, which is more than you used to see for a whole role on a whole pilot. You know, but when you're casting, because oftentimes, most times, I get cast for younger shows, for younger casts. I can't say, oh, I don't want to see that person. They don't have enough credits. I don't have that luxury.
Right.
So everybody, more people are getting a chance to be seen, which is a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't get a sense if they were rude in the outer office.
Well, what do you think stands out in a self-tape nowadays? Like that, if you're watching so many, do you hear, is a majority of people follow the directions and do it one way? And is it that one person that makes a choice that wasn't in the script that stands out, or is it better to follow the directions?
I
Asking for a friend.
I have to trust my gut. I call it the lean-in moment. When you're watching a bunch of self-tapes and there's something that person does that makes me go, what was that?
Yeah.
You know, that, oh, what is it? Oh, finally. You know, and you know, with Josh and Stephanie and the history, I also have this luxury of sort of kind of knowing what they respond to. And, you know, on the Apple show, there was a kid named Wyatt Olaf, who's a great kid, and his first self-tape.
I met him, yeah.
Yeah, his first self-tape, I was like, oh my God, this is such a Josh and Stephanie kid.
Mm-hmm.
But his reading was off. It was not great. It was just, but I didn't get to be in the room with him and say, do it again and do it this. So I called the agent. I said, will you just have him please retape with these notes? And it was fucking perfect.
Right.
You know, and that's what I was able to send to Josh and Stephanie. So even if the first shot is not right, I still have to be paying attention to, but is this feels right? He's just off the mark a little bit.
That's like the Adam Brody story, right? He came in, he was kind of off, he wasn't off book, and he just said what he wanted, and you had to fight to get him back in, and he came back in, and yeah.
Right. And the first time he came in for me, he read for Ryan, because that's
Yeah,
what he
right,
wanted
that
to read.
story.
And then the second time, I just knew he was good and said, no, come back as Seth and we'll go right to producers.
Yeah, he chose to read for Ryan. He took
Correct.
the prerogative.
Correct.
Imagine if Adam Brody was cast as Ryan.
I thought he was Ryan the first day I saw him. Because of the attitude, and Ben was kind of
with that attitude.
He looked a little nerdier to me. I don't know, just because the script, and Adam looked more like a bad boy just in person. Because I just
Adam Brody has Riz.
Has Riz? Okay.
What? Okay, I'm 63. What's that word mean?
It's honestly not even in my vernacular. It's more the Gen. What is it? Gen Alpha, the younger ones.
Gen Alpha? What the fuck is Gen Alpha? Sounds like
it's
a drag queen name.
They're like in high school, middle school right now.
Okay. He's Gen Z.
I'm Gen. Well, I'm Gen Z. I'm on the cusp of millennial Gen Z, but I'm more
There's
Gen Z.
now a Gen Alpha?
There's a Gen Alpha.
Yeah, it's the one below me.
So we're starting over because we went through all the letters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm Gen Dead.
Gen Dead.
Yeah. I'm Gen RIP.
Gen
Rip.
Yes.
But it's like charisma.
Okay. Riz. Okay, there it is.
He has Riz,
Okay.
charisma.
Absolutely. Adam has that.
He's suave.
Yeah. He's got it. He's the hottest. He got voted the hottest Jewish man in Hollywood.
Why is there a
Josh Schwartz didn't
vote
win
for that?
Adam
Hottest Jewish man?
Yeah.
No, but here's the thing. If you think about it, I think I said this once before. Working with Josh, Seth was Josh.
Yes, it was. He was the muse for sure.
Yeah.
Josh was Chuck on Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
This Wyatt Olaf was Josh in City on Fire. Like, there's like this cool guy that's smarter than the room, which is Josh.
Yeah.
Who's also like adorable and sexy and has Riz.
Riz, add that to your vocab.
Yeah.
From now, you're like in your casting. I'm looking for someone with Riz.
Gen Alpha Riz. I'm in.
I heard Penn Badgley has a podcast, and I think he said the same thing. He felt like he was Josh's version of him on Gossip Girl, which
Penn Badgley is so hot.
Into guys murdering you, CG? Do we need to talk about this offline?
Yeah, I don't know. And you, I'm like, yikes. Why am I attracted to this man right now while he's murdering all these people?
Because of the
Maybe I
Riz.
need to up my therapy sessions.
Oh, man.
This past week, I have had an awful cold, awful allergies. There's fires in California. And I will say my sinuses are really unhappy right now.
Yeah, CG, you have such a sensitive nose your whole life. And you know what? I'm actually really sensitive to the dry air and the winds where I live. And there's nothing worse than a dry nose. But we have the perfect solution for these unhappy noses. And you should try it. Navage Nasal Care makes breathing easier.
Navage uses smooth saline flow and gentle patented nasal suction to clear nasal passages. I just hold my Navage nasal cleaner up to my nose and press start. It effectively unlocks and flushes all of that stuff from my nasal passages, and it's fast. It works as fast as 30 seconds. Navage is drug-free and uses 99.9% saline salt pods with no medicinal side effects.
I've used saline for my breathing problems my whole life, but nothing has been as effective as Navage. I have a very, very deep, satisfied feeling after using it. Plus, I purr/snore less.
I'm sleeping so much better and my headaches are gone and my sinuses are less congested. It has made such a difference in this cold I've been having.
We want to help you get relief from your congestion too. Our listeners can order a convenient Navage starter pack, including a nose cleaner with batteries included and 30 original salt pods, everything you need to get started. Plus, get a cleaning kit as a free gift with your order, but only by going to our exclusive URL, navage.com/beyond, and using our code BEYOND. Again, to order your Navage free cleaning kit and for full product details, go to navage.com/beyond. That's promo code BEYOND at navage.com/beyond. Well, okay. You know what? Let's get into the episode a little bit because I think this is hysterical. That Patrick, did you ever watch season 3?
I did.
But back in the day.
I did, but I don't think I watched all, like, and then I obviously knew that, there was a plan to possibly kill off Marissa at the end. And so, I watched, I did, but I was not prepared last night that this was the episode where they were introducing all those new characters.
And you know what? It was funny in my head because I was like, who would be interesting here? And because we had you for season 1 and 2, and then I was like, but I don't think Patrick cast this. And then your name was there. So I was like, I'm asking Patrick because we have all these new characters. So there was a method to my madness. But I still think there's some fun stuff in this, and your reactions are always my favorite. So one of the things we do in this podcast is it's a fan-driven podcast where I ask questions and the fans, we let the conversation kind of be motivated by what people have said on Reddit, Instagram, and YouTube. So,
okay. Did you do a theme for this synopsis?
No.
Mom, you haven't done it for the last few.
Hold. When CG just asked that, I thought she was asking me, and I panicked. I was like, no, I didn't do a synopsis.
Wait, I had to do a theme?
I had homework.
Well, I could try and do it like Chili.
Patrick, you get an F in Beyond the OC.
Let me tell you. That's sort of my GPA at Notre Dame High School, just so you know. Solid 2.3.
Nice.
Yeah, solid 2.3.
I could do it. I've been doing themes along the way, but I feel like this was just like, this is almost like Taylor Townsend or Chili. I don't know. I wrote this. So in The Last Waltz, Marissa's first day at Newport Union is a step into the bizarro OC of season 3. Fresh with mean girls and awkward new friends like Chili, Ryan's attempts to play hero are shut down by Sandy, who wisely points out that saving Marissa won't get him into college. He's smart. Meanwhile, Taylor begs Summer to let her help with the school dance because she's desperate for friends. And that's true. And Kirsten's post-rehab cooking is terrifying everyone. The episode peaks with a classic John Hughes High School dance for Marissa and her new friends at Newport Union. But over at the Harbor Dance, where the decor is an otherworldly end of summer, Taylor is caught making out with the least surprising partner ever, Dean Hicks. Millie's evicted and out on her ass. Charlotte's con is so obvious it hurts, and it all ends with an achy montage to Youth Group's cover of Forever Young, originally by Alphaville. I have to say that. And Ryan and Marissa dancing because what's teenage drama without a bit of melodrama? There we go.
I'll be honest.
What?
Like, what? Why was this episode voted in the top 50?
I don't know.
Like, it's fine, but I'd say out of all the episodes we've done on this podcast, this is the one I was the most bored in.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
I thought-
CG bringing the hammer.
Patrick, I lay it down.
Wow, CG.
I don't hold back.
You didn't like Return of the Nana either. You were really angry about that. Was when Marissa.
Oh, well, I was just pissed off.
Yeah.
I was just mad at everyone in
so
that
you're
episode.
apathetic is not a good thing to have for an episode.
Wait, what?
She's bringing the angry Riz. I don't even know what that means. Wow.
It wasn't a bad episode. Like, it was definitely entertaining, but I'm like, I feel like some of the ones we've watched previously that were ranked lower than this were much more interesting than this episode.
Yeah, I wasn't this vehemently against it, CG. I wasn't.
Wow.
That's okay.
That's why I'm here. I have the big opinions.
Yeah, wow. That apple did not fall far from that tree.
I still think it's awesome that you just thought she was a random tech.
Random tech chick. Just fucking like
I'm your producer.
Like Kamala's stepdaughter, but less edgy. I'm like, who is this chick? I'm in.
But he instantly.
You're like, oh, Patrick, have you ever met CG? You're like, oh, I don't think so.
She was like, it was like, don't you want to be
She
an
was
actor?
3. She was 3.
When she was young, people said, don't you want to be an actor? And she's like, no, I see how hard it is for mom. And she's in Toronto.
Nah.
No.
On Nikita.
Yeah. That's just my hot take on this episode. I didn't not enjoy the episode.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
but I thought ones we've done in the last couple episodes that we've recorded, they were better than this.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
No.
You want me to
Mother,
say it?
let Patrick speak.
Yes, I will.
Close just for a second.
Wow, CG. Put the crock pot on low, CG.
She talks to me after and she's like, did I talk too much in that episode? I'm like,
okay, here's what was weird for me about watching the episode. It's sort of like watching episodes of Friends now with Matthew Perry dead. And the tragic, like seeing Johnny Lewis and knowing how that ended, the guy who played Chili, and the fact that he tested for Seth, it sort of has that like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? There's a sadness that lays over it for me.
Yes,
with such a real life tragedy
Yes.
as opposed to OC drama.
right.
Right. We did talk about this in the last podcast. I listened to it, and Johnny Lewis died tragically in a very, very extreme way. And I didn't get into details then, and we don't need to now. It's public record. You can look it up. But he was friends with Adam Brody. He was best friends with my friend Lindsay Fonseca, and we all had worked together, and we all had great experiences with him. But unfortunately, it was a very tragic thing that you can look up.
And the thing is, such a sweet kid. That's the heartbreak. That was the heartbreak.
But mental illness or whatever was going on is, that's a theme that we've noticed in doing this podcast. It wasn't so prevalent.
Mental health was very like taboo to speak about.
Right. We didn't talk about it.
Like when Julie says to Marissa about going to therapy, everyone's like, Julie's a witch.
Yeah.
Why would she ever say Marissa needs to go to therapy? I'm like, therapy is probably the best part of my life. Like, I'll talk, like, I think mental health, I have a psychology degree, Patrick. I'm like, I think mental health needs to be talked about so much more because people used to write it off as like, oh, they're just crazy. They're just this, they're just that. Like, you don't need therapy. That means there's something wrong with you. But every single person in the world, if you think you're absolutely perfect and there's nothing wrong, you can benefit from therapy.
Yeah.
And these kids in this fucking show need therapy so bad.
You know what?
So bad.
In this episode, there's a moment where all I could think was, Trey's been shot. She's been kicked out of school. Ryan's homeschooled.
She was assaulted by Trey.
And there are these moments where but this kind of makes for good. We all know these things are going on, and Ryan and Marissa are standing there, and she's saying, I really should go learn to make new friends. And there's all of this stuff unsaid in the silence of like, how do we do this? And there are these moments where this is almost like the beginning of the end of them breaking up. There's some very poignant moments in this episode that a lot of our viewers pointed out.
can we talk about Autumn Reeser and the teacher?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's get into it.
like Autumn Reeser, who is, by the way, really, really good
Yes.
at being
She's incredible.
really bad. She's so evil. She's like Betty Davis from the '40s movies. You know,
All about
she's
Eve.
like that sweet girl who just she's all about Eve. You know,
Mhm.
she is manipulative and really good. But and the teacher.
I didn't remember what was going to happen in this episode. It was
Shocking.
I was
Yeah.
like, "What? Wait,
Well,
she duped him?" I didn't remember. I was like,
and how did we get away with it? I mean, she's underage.
"Well, my guess is that she's 18."
Okay.
Because well, I think we've talked about this. They were very, very careful in season 1 that they made sure to say Luke was 18
hmm
when Julie did it. So I feel like they wouldn't cross that line of her
Right.
being like 17, because that makes it much, obviously it's still like very illegal, but it makes it a bigger deal.
Right.
Well, you know what? It's interesting because they made a big deal about it was a line that I had to do ADR for, looping after the fact. It was, we didn't say, oh no, I said it. What am I talking about? Oh, right. It was the last minute in the script. And because you're 18, because these characters are still, even though Julie kind of fit the role of villain, she still was a character that they didn't want her to do something illegal. Whereas they didn't know with Dean Hess and Taylor, because Autumn had just signed on for an arc.
Right.
And so it was okay to not make it clear that she was 18. They are seniors this year, aren't they?
Yeah, so it could be that
could
she
be.
was 18.
Yeah.
Very, very well could be.
Especially at the end of the school year, if
Right.
that's what.
Yeah.
And by the way, I just want to shout out Barbara Stordahl and Angela Terry for casting Autumn Reeser. It's a really great piece of casting.
Oh, yeah. Good.
that they
No,
did.
she's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah, she's really good.
And in the book, I remember Josh saying, we've done so much in this podcast, but I'm always surprised by things. But he said, they cast her for this, and then when they see the show, she just jumped off the screen.
Yep.
And that's that is the classic thing. Like, writers say, I want to write for that character and
Right.
that person more. Let's bring her back. Because you have all kinds of guest stars and people who actually had larger roles. And if it didn't work out, some reason, they might leave earlier than they planned and such. So she's really
She's incredible.
She really is
Taylor.
she's a fun character and a great foil with Summer.
Exactly.
Yeah. This is another one of those episodes where I've seen the show in order, but as we're jumping around, I do not comprehend how Summer and Taylor become friends. In this little block of episodes, I don't understand how they actually end up becoming friends. It seems so outlandish. But I know they get there, but watching them out of order like this, it's just...
I said this in the last podcast, actually. One of the reasons that you believed it so well is because she was telling the truth. Taylor really doesn't have friends. She really is that person, and she was telling the truth. She wasn't faking. She just faked what the motivation was behind it. And she was designed to be the villain. And that's what happens when these characters become cores. Now you're bringing on guest stars to support the core character storylines, correct, Patrick?
Correct.
And all these new characters are villains to get, to make the core character,
to rile things up.
Yeah, to rile them up. And that reminds me, because I have a little note here. Isoturius on Reddit wrote, Dean Hess and Charlotte are what happens when a studio exec makes a show cast certain people and requests more drama. That's the real downfall of season 3, Fox. And I was like, we bring in the controversial but I do know that bringing on
Patrick, the silence is deafening.
but I do know that the Charlotte part of it was, they said, we want Desperate Housewives had premiered and it was through the roof, and we want a femme fatale female character. We know that was what the directive, correct?
Right. Well, but Charlotte is Jerry, right?
Charlotte is Jerry Ryan. Yes.
Jerry Ryan. Okay, yeah. And I have to be careful. It's that we want stunt casting.
Yes.
Okay.
You said it started with Sharon Stone and you end up with Jerry Ryan.
Right, which isn't a bad thing.
No.
But there's a lot of wasted time between waiting a week and a half when you have 8 days of prep for Sharon Stone to say no. And so But I watched that episode last night, and like Jerry Ryan is kind of sort of perfect for that.
Oh,
as a
she was
villain.
I think
Yeah.
she's incredible
Yeah.
for that role.
But it's just part of that. We're going to bring in a big character, and it has to be splashy, and then a lot of time gets wasted. Like Jerry Ryan could have been in wardrobe 5 days earlier, had we not played out the ridiculous chase.
Right. And and as watching the episode, we talked about this in the last podcast, and I noticed this again. You could almost feel, and maybe because I know that the writers were like, okay, we were told to do this and we bring in this character and it just didn't really fit the show. You could tell that the writers weren't really into the storyline, and the screen time wasn't very much, and it, I don't know, you just felt that it wasn't a super invested storyline.
It felt shoehorned in.
Exactly.
And even when is explaining to the fake delivery flower boy friend that
Who's actually her boyfriend.
You're like, who's this guy? Patrick texted
Rich Vall.
Wait, can you explain this Sharon Stone thing? What are you talking about?
When you get one of those directives from a studio or a network where they said, we want to cast a big name to come on the show and help with ratings and publicity, and it's that injection they want to put into the show in season 3. So you do the list of Sharon Stone and Michelle Pfeiffer and all those gals.
Shoot for like the big A-list stars.
Yeah,
big movie star.
Right. Get a big movie star. And here's the thing that I've learned about stunt casting over the years is that famous people don't help ratings, but infamous people do. And the perfect example of that is there was, I think, the end of the first season or second season of How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
They cast Britney Spears when she was in the lowest of the low meltdown times of her life. She was more known as a mess than she was as a pop star. She was swinging, breaking windows, shaved her head. She was crazy. But they put her on that last episode of How I Met Your Mother that season when they were on the bubble, and it was huge. And they got picked up, and then they ran for a lot of seasons after that. But it wasn't casting a great actress to help them or a movie star. It was casting kind of a train wreck.
Right.
I always kept saying, when stunt casting would come up, I'm like, can we hire O.J. Simpson? Because everyone would watch.
Oh my gosh.
That's true, though.
Right?
Like when someone's circulating in the media for bad things and you find out they're going to be on a show, that's all you want to watch.
Exactly.
You want to see how they're going to do. You don't need to see the big A-list who is going to be perfect to a T. You want to see the person who's a little, you don't know what's going to happen.
We had Paris Hilton and Steve-O. That's the kind of stunt casting you're talking about.
That's what I think people tune in for. People want to see the train wreck. You want to slow down and look at the accident when you drive by and still yell at all the people in front of you for doing the same thing. But, I don't really think had we cast Sharon Stone that it would have impacted the ratings in a gigantic way. But had we cast Monica Lewinsky at that time, she was infamous.
I would watch it.
Yeah.
I would have watched it for sure.
And also those roles, because it's major stunt casting, there's quite a bit of money, isn't it?
They can throw some money, but also the actor you're bringing in knows that they're not going to be a series regular.
Yeah.
They're facilitating a need.
Mm-hmm.
And, even in the scene I noticed that I was talking about where they're in her apartment or hotel and she's saying, yeah, she doesn't have any money. And then they start making out on the bed and the camera just sort of drifts away. And I was like, wow, that didn't feel thought out.
Right.
But that's exactly the point you were making.
Yeah. And sometimes if the shows go long, certain things get edited out too.
Right.
Josephine in our audience said, I believe Britney really loved the show and kept asking to be on it.
On How I Met Your Mother?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, trust me, I've gotten those calls from people saying so-and-so loves the show and wants to be on.
Right.
But it also did coincide at a time where Britney was at that height of kind of like at the beginning of TMZ and Perez Hilton. She was a tabloid train wreck.
Wow.
And she was being, hunted by the paparazzi.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think that's in that, yes. And I remember everybody keeps talking about, like, when Kim Delaney came on, Peter kept talking about Ellen Barkin.
Mm-hmm.
I remember hearing different names coming around. But yeah, I mean, it's stunt casting is, I think it works when like Brad Pitt is on Friends because they're married. You know,
that makes it so much easier
Yeah.
than me cold calling, the CAA agent of television episodic who covers the show, trying to get to.
Yeah.
Sharon
Is it
Stone.
hard? I mean, you get a lot of no's in casting, right? You just have
to
let that roll off, right? And then you have plenty of people who are begging.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Listen, so let's going back to Marissa going to public school. Audrey White Wikia on Reddit said, just had a thought. If Marissa had never been expelled from Harbor, gone to public school, met Johnny, and then met Bolchuk, she never would have died. Going to public school actually killed Marissa.
No, and then someone after, All Tulicious, said, so what you're saying is that it's all the fault of Dean Hess. And then an anonymous person said, it's actually Taylor's mom's fault because she was pushing hard for Marissa to get expelled so that Taylor could be social chair. So we can blame
Taylor's mom,
Marissa's death, on Veronica Townsend.
There you go. Oh my gosh. See the thing?
It's all solved.
Yeah.
I have never thought this deeply about any of these things. But I love the people that are invested in that. For the people who are invested.
Josephine just said something. She said, but the only reason Marissa or Veronica was trying to get Marissa expelled is because of Trey.
Because she shot.
Because Trey.
Now it's all Trey.
She shot. But Trey only came into Marissa's life because of Ryan. And who brought Ryan to Newport? Sandy Cohen.
There it is.
Sandy Cohen killed Marissa Cooper.
Right.
I love it. You know what? This is a Deadline episode I would watch on a loop. Let's do it. Let's do a true crime doc on the OC characters.
On Marissa Cooper's death. It was Sandy Cohen. And the unexpected lawyer is the murderer.
But you know what? CG,
who would have thought?
Since you hated the return of Nana, let's blame the mom. Let's blame Sandy's mother.
Let's blame the Nana.
Sandy is the way he is because of
Linda
the Nana.
Because of Linda Lavin.
Because of the Nana.
Oh, wait. And now Josephine's saying I can tie it back to Jimmy. Jimmy got Kirsten pregnant, so she had an abortion and she left Berkeley and met Sandy.
Oh!
Boom.
You know what? Sorry. I'm going to vape.
Do it.
Because this is...
You need it. Patrick, this is I might go pour a glass of wine. I'm in over my head a little bit right now. With
Have
this
one for me, honey.
Work.
I'm sober for 35 years and I could use a glass after all this shit. I can't believe we are going this deep.
We're in deep right now.
This is a rabbit hole that I didn't even know existed.
I know.
Wait. But.
What?
Kirsten probably got the abortion because of her dad, Caleb Nickel, who would have said, you can't do that. You have a life. So it's Caleb Nickel's fault.
Who left Julie broke?
Caleb Nickel!
Hold on. But can I just since we're so fucking off the rails, can I just read my 3 favorite Post-it note moments from last night?
Of course.
Please.
Yes.
Okay. Melinda, you know how I've always felt about Julie.
Okay.
She's my favorite. Okay. Julie's eyebrow raise at the door when the guy was giving you a 48-hour notice. Hold on. That was blocked by your bangs. But you fucking pulled an eyebrow raise that I could see hidden behind the bangs. Classic Julie Cooper.
How do you do that?
There it is. But
can you do the other side?
No.
Melinda, you're so good at it. You actually moved your bangs with the power of your eyebrow. Okay. Just go back to that scene. Okay. Josh Schwartz's brilliance of the subtlety of the end of summer.
Yes.
Best line of the whole episode.
Truly
delivered with a hammer by Autumn Reeser.
Yes.
Okay. Then, all right. Favorite third moment.
Yeah.
Julie Cooper in the cheap motel room, broke, dripping in fucking diamonds. Dripping in diamonds. Bracelets, necklace, earrings at a Motel 6 in like Hermosa.
Yeah. In the last podcast, Kayla Ewell was like, sell your Louis Vuitton and don't sleep in a motel.
Yep.
Sell your expensive stuff
and don't sleep in a motel. You're going to be dead the next morning. Marissa's going to shoot you to get those jewels.
Oh my gosh. So Barry, Barry.
I'm throwing my Post-it out.
That's okay. Barry wrote.
You're getting us on back on track with that Post-it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Barry wrote. Barry is one of our loyal supporters here. Barry Serpa. He said, this episode was one of Melinda's best scenes. Thank you. The hotel room where we see the real Julie, the person Julie spent most of her life trying to hide, the emotional reaction of being homeless and poor.
This episode, I was like,
white trash
shit.
Julie.
I was like, shit, Mom. Like, you're good at your job.
You were good. You were good. Honey, you were. You were, because that was OG Julie.
Yeah.
That's the girl who clawed her way out of that life and up the coast.
And she was having this is the only time we see her in like true pity party. Like she's feeling
like ever.
Yeah. And but then she comes back and she figures it out. And then when she's
a survivor,
reveal that she's actually in the trailer park and that her kids still love her.
Okay, but that's one of my favorite scenes. It's in a different episode, but when we talked about it in past episodes, but when you bring Caitlin to the trailer park and you're like, look, this is the home, the pull-out bed. I was like,
blue.
You're so cute. You just want the best for your daughter.
And that was Willa. Not Shayla. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was watching this on the plane on a flight home after an exhausting week, and I nearly started crying watching that last scene with Julie laying on the bed.
Aw.
Honey, where were you coming back from having an exhausting week?
Chicago.
She was visiting her friends in Chicago.
I lived there for 5 years. There was a lot of drinking, a lot of late nights. You know, because I don't do that. I don't do that here.
She lives with grandma.
You've threatened to hit the wine 4 times since we've been on this Zoom.
Do we need
All right, Melinda, keep it on track. What's next?
Okay, so you were saying Julie was like clawing herself out. Someone else, it's Menadia, maybe.
Yeah.
Left a comment saying, I love that Julie and Marissa get closer in this episode. Marissa seems less resentful and Julie more empathetic / self-aware of her actions and their effect on Marissa. And I love this scene where Marissa says what like all the fans have been saying. She's like, you're a survivor, Mom. Like, I trust you.
Yep.
And I thought that line was so sweet. So I was like, given everything that the two of them have been through, Marissa is saying, you're a survivor. I trust you.
Yeah.
But you would think that Julie would be stuffing money into a rainy day. The fact that she hasn't.
She's wearing it, honey. She's going to be okay. She's still got it.
It's true. She ends up with a bag. She her engagement ring, and she ends up with a bag of money.
Yeah. This is a temporary setback for Jules. I know it. Jules is coming back.
She'll come out of this easily.
She's going to open a froyo stand on the beach.
Oh, see,
she's going to open a yoga studio, coffee shop, boutique
called Froyo.
Called Jimmy's Froyo.
Yeah.
And you actually, CG, going back to the mental health, Amy Dance Pants on YouTube, I think, said if this show had come out years later, I'm sure mental health would have been at the forefront.
Absolutely.
And Marissa would have been understood by a lot more fans of the show. Sucks that back then therapy was seen as something you do go only when you're, quote, unstable. So that people are aware of that for sure.
Watching it now, I'm like, Julie was breaking the mold of like what was taboo at the time of like
forcing her.
Don't go to therapy. Like she was like, you should go to therapy. And she was like breaking away from what everyone thought at the time. Like she knew what was best for her daughter.
But she went to therapy and she met Oliver. Maybe all of this is Oliver's fault.
It all goes back to Oliver.
Because she can't go. Oh yeah,
killer handling.
No, it still goes back to Jimmy Cooper.
Yeah, well, and Josephine just said the same thing because after Julie was forcing them, and then this whole thing with Oliver, she's like, "Oh, I guess I was wrong. Look what you meet in therapy." So,
I never knew how deep this show was. It runs deep. It runs deep.
I have a bulletin board in my room with a bunch of red string attached. And like photos, I'm like, how are we figuring out all the information behind the scenes?
Like a Law and Order murder suspect thing?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
It's this is all I dedicate my life to.
So, okay, here, I want to say this thing. Anonymous on Reddit said, I want to know what makes the writers switch tact after the first 3 or 4 episodes in season 3, because she starts the season showing maturity and growth. She faces Trey, tries to support Ryan, stands up to the dean, communicates to Ryan he doesn't need to protect her, and shrugs off the bad news about getting expelled. Jimmy and going to public school. But after this, the writers decide to plague her with yet another guy who falls in love with her because she's nice to them. Just why?
Because we have to put those people in to make the fans want Ryan and Marissa to be back together.
Right.
That's what guest stars on shows like this service. They service you not wanting Marissa to be with Johnny because you want her to be with Ryan, and you want Seth to be with Summer. So anybody that comes in and tries to stir that up or mix it up is to just get you to remember how it started and why.
Yeah.
I think.
And it does a great job of it. Like all of these people that come in every season, like you hate the characters, but that means they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, you're supposed to hate them.
Right. And
you were supposed to hate Taylor.
Yeah.
Oliver.
I talk about it all the time. I hate Johnny. Like, I'm just like, why are you whining? And not in this episode, but like after, he breaks up with Casey, I'm like, stop whining.
But can we give him credit for really being the first guy to pull off the Bieber bangs?
For sure. His hair is incredible.
Spot on.
But that's what I mean. Like,
he did.
Ryan Donahue did phenomenal because I despise Johnny.
Yeah.
Right.
So he did what he was supposed to do.
I got the feeling that they were originally they did write him like really kind of, you know what? They wrote him as the guy because Ryan is he wasn't there. He's not a man of many words. He's very few words. And I think they wrote him as the guy that she could open up to because she wasn't getting it with Ryan, because there was definitely a vulnerability to him. And every person who has ever met Marissa falls in love with her. And Josephine said she has the Helen of Troy effect on the boys on the show. Yeah. But here's a question that actually I went back to the podcast. Kayla Ewell was our guest the first time. Lovely Kayla that you cast. No. You wouldn't have cast her. It was
Barbara and Angela.
Barbara did. Okay. Sorry. Dorotia 1691 on YouTube said, "Hi both. This is to Rachel and myself, I guess. I have a question for Josh and Stephanie. Did they go with, because we're talking about the end now, Forever Young, the cover as Marissa and Ryan, did they go with Forever Young as Marissa and Ryan's song because they were foreshadowing Marissa's death at the end of the season and the fact that she and their love would remain forever young as a result? The song plays again when they tactically and mutually decide to break up a few episodes later over the phone, and the episode is called The Last Waltz. So it seems to be an omen or something ending. Thank you." Was there already talk? I mean, of Marissa leaving and the beginning. Do you remember that?
No.
Not yet.
No. But that third season when I was at Warner Brothers, and so I was more behind the sort of the veil or whatever, behind the curtain stuff, I remember conversations about their talking about the possibility of killing Marissa.
Right.
But no one had said yes. No one had approved it. No, it was... I know that it wasn't a quick snap decision that everybody was like, oh yeah, let's do that. I mean, it impacted the show and everyone knew that it would. And obviously you never want the actor to hear that elsewhere.
Right.
Or in the rumor mill. I also don't know if nowadays you could get away and keep that secret with internet sleuths and chat rooms and stuff like that.
All it takes is somebody like somebody over at Warner Brothers who likes to anonymously go on these things and mention something like that.
Right. Yeah, because somebody, when the outlines come out before the scripts and those go to development and production,
it's months before, right?
Yeah, and if something went out saying end of season 3, Marissa dies, today it would not have remained a secret.
And there was, I know that, Peter Liguori was in charge and at that time, and by the end, because didn't Gail Berman left and then Peter Liguori took over at Fox, and there was pressure from the network to do something big, some kind of stunt. And actually they wanted big stunt. They wanted marketable things to happen during the show in that third season, and killing off a character is a big deal. But now we've learned from the book and everybody's like figured out that, it was devastating to such a huge core part of the fans themselves, like young people who couldn't go to school because they were crying at the end, for a week.
Now, by the way, had you been the character they killed, I couldn't have gone to work the next day. I would have thrown myself in front of a Julie Cooper bus. Just so that's how much I loved you.
I don't know that it would have been as big of an impact, right?
For me personally, no. The gays would not have had it. The gays were not having a Julie Cooper demise.
Now, where are my gays? I posted on Instagram today because the episode we did with Tate a few weeks back, we were talking about the fact that somebody in that episode called me a drag queen because we had this elaborate makeup, and I was like, it's not the first time I've been mistaken for.
You've been called a drag queen in real life
at Arena in West Hollywood once when I was.
There were guys dressing as Julie Cooper on Halloween on Santa Monica Boulevard.
You too.
Yeah, I didn't dress as Julie Cooper. I would never insult you that way. Hey, first of all, me and drag is just B. Arthur. Nobody wants to see it. I don't do drag. But there were guys dressed as Julie Cooper.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's the juicy outfit, the pink one.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Mom, do you still have one of those?
Yeah.
And you see,
because Rachel and I have them. We got them because of the podcast, and
I want to be Julie Cooper for Halloween.
Okay. That's funny.
Hello.
Yeah, I got some pink. Hello.
I mean, who better to be Julie Cooper for Halloween than her blood?
You better tell all these Reddit people who are still so invested.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, I'm going to be Julie Cooper for Halloween. Write it down now.
Yeah.
But back to Marissa's death.
Yes.
Shelby Bart said, I hated the change in the show this season, but it was necessary. It's like the honeymoon period of the series ended and things got real. Things got uncomfortable. I was just rewatching the series a few months ago and stopped watching because I knew it was about to happen. And then the fact that Marissa stays forever young. I feel like in season 3, as I was reading these comments and watching the episode, I feel like they foreshadowed her death in very tiny, tiny little ways throughout all of season 3. Just like in little, like not really noticeable ways.
Yeah.
And if they did, it was subtle and smart like Josh does.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
that's why I think it's plausible that it was, because it's Josh.
I mean, and because, Josh also got away with this also being a very funny show when it was a teen drama.
It wasn't originally going to be as funny as it ended up.
But there's a subtlety, because you were funny and Seth was funny. And even there were times when Ben McKenzie was funny, and Summer was funny. I mean, there's a lot of humor in the show. And I think that was part of the magic that worked.
Right, because humor, we know people, Adam and Peter Gallagher and Tate, everyone actually is pretty funny in real life. Yeah. But I think Adam kind of admittedly was doing his version of Vince Vaughn, and it was super effective. And we all started picking up on it because it was in the episodes, and we were like, oh. So now we can button those scenes with some improv, and it makes sense,
Plus, they kept the clip of the dialogue moving. You guys didn't deliver a line like Falcon Crest and wait for it to land with violence.
Dun, 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 right. From time, we had a few of those moments, I would imagine, from time to time. But that speaking of Adam, this is kind of a quote or a comment, but I
was gonna read this one.
You can read it. It's awesome.
Is it bad?
No, it's a really fun.
Is it the one by Avaristo XX?
No, I wasn't gonna.
Oh, you said Adam. One. I thought you were talking about your husband Adam's stepdad. No, my stepdad. Okay, never mind.
Oh my God, there's so many character names overlapping.
You read what you want to read, and then I'll read mine after.
So I thought this was really great. This was from Oscar Morris 6736 on YouTube. Originally, I was forced to watch the OC. My daughters all loved Adam because once upon a time, he worked at our local Blockbuster in San Diego, and he was the guy that recommended films, quote, Adam's Picks. He always came over, took the girls around the store, and helped them pick their movies. They were 5, 7, 9, and 11. He didn't have to do that. It impressed me that he always made them feel special. I ended up watching the show and really being sad, especially for my girls, that it was cut short. How cute is that?
That's really cute.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Who would have thought Adam?
Yeah, but can you imagine going into the Blockbuster and there's Adam's Picks, because he loved film and and that's how Quentin Tarantino started, right?
That is that's really nice to know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Adam's a gem. He's awesome.
That's so cute. And that's how I remember him too. Like when I was 3, 4, or 5 on the show, just being like, I feel like he loves kids.
Yeah.
He loves kids.
Yeah.
And he has some now, right?
He has two
Okay,
girls
good.
with Leighton Meester, yes.
Right.
But
That is a gorgeous couple. Adam Brody and Leighton Meester.
you have there is a quote that you wanted to read. I actually thought this was great too.
It's just kind of stupid, but really funny. And like, it's okay. So someone said, when my mom's boyfriend started moving in, I went through his box and found the DVDs of the whole series, and I stole them because I didn't like him. And when he was gone, I watched the series in my room, and now I'm obsessed. I watch them when I'm out of shows to watch, and I binge watch them like all the time. It's literally my favorite.
Yeah. So I
stole the DVDs from her mom's boyfriend because she hated him.
I think she put that on my Instagram. But listen, I mean, I think the moment, because on the Instagram I posted the video and it has the Forever Young song. So that's what most people remember from this episode. That really, the music, the montages, and that song is from my childhood, Alphaville. Yeah. And the cover actually was Alexandra Patsavas asked youth group to do this, and they had some success from this. And people all over my Instagram are saying this is the song that was played at my wedding, or there was a young woman who said my sister died, and this is the song that reminds me of her. And so these music moments really have such an impact. And I think that's what most people commented on, because the dance at the end, it really was. I always try to figure out what the last waltz. There's usually a double meaning, and obviously it's the movie that Martin Scorsese did, the movie about the band, the group, the band, but
the band.
It's how do you say his name? Engelbert Humperdinck's song.
Engelbert
Humperdinck. And his name was like George something, and he changed it to, but his song, The Last Waltz, was like, this is the last song. Obviously, there's 2 dances, and this kind of is the beginning of the end. So there seems to be, for those of us who know the show, there seems to be some foreshadowing.
Right. Yeah, like what Seth, when he calls Ryan, he's like, I don't want you to think this is at the beginning of when you started to lose her. Like, and watching it, knowing what's happening, I'm like,
It is.
Yikes.
Well, and I think that's the subtle, clever writing, because
exactly
there's something that has to happen.
Because I don't think fans could have guessed that they were going to kill Marissa, but they were leaving little breadcrumbs about it.
Yeah, maybe.
I have to say, this reminded me, this is a random offshoot, like our random tech chick. This producer named Brian Yorkie, who produced 13 Reasons Why, who's awesome. This is the impact of the OC and how it still sort of impacts me in an amazing way. I interviewed for a job with him for a Netflix series called Echoes, and it was about these female identical twins, and they were crazy and dangerous and psychotic. And my mother was an identical twin, and her identical twin and she were crazy, legit. So this will be like a very special other episode, CG, when I talk about what happened in the pool with my aunt, my identical twin aunt. But I was obsessed to get this job. I wanted this job so bad, and I had to meet them on Zoom. And Quentin Peoples was one of the writers, and I'd known him from Runaways. Anyway, so Brian Yorkie comes on, and I'm all nervous because I want this job. Mm-hmm. And he says, I just have to start by saying, it was during COVID. I just watched all 4 seasons of the OC, and you are like a genius. And all of a sudden, he took all this power away from my nervousness about really wanting to get this job by just being kind to me because of how much he loved the show. So this show still, it's not shocking to me that people are still watching it like this and looking at breadcrumbs and how smart it was. Mm-hmm. Didn't you know when you read the pilot, like it was just smarter than the average teen drama. And it still has an impact on people. And
I want to echo that, Patrick. Anytime I hear someone else was up for the role of a character versus who actually got it, in my mind, it's always the better choice. So I agree. You're phenomenal at your job because the casting in this show is impeccable. Like, I couldn't imagine anyone as anyone else.
Yeah, you would not be going to private school without Patrick because he fought for me. I was locked up with Babylon 5 between me and Trisha Helfer. And I was like, give it to Trisha. It's not going to be my role. And it was like
It was always your role.
the guest star.
I remember like seeing you at Hugo's on Riverside and Coldwater, and
That's
it was
I love
during
that
that
place.
time. It was during that time, and I'm so happy it worked out the way it did.
Yeah.
I love Hugo's.
We lived right behind the
Whole Foods.
right there.
The Whole Foods, yeah.
The Whole Foods?
Like on Morse or
Morse.
I was on Morrison, but you were on like
Van
Addison.
Nord. We were on Van Nord, and then we were on Morse. We were
Okay.
both, yeah. But I had done Everwood, and you just like the year before, and so it worked out. It all worked out. But is there anything else that you guys thank you? That was actually great to know, Patrick. I mean, or what you just said, that was a great way to kind of wrap this up. Unless you guys want to continue to talk. Is there anything about the episode we didn't really comment on? CG.
You got Julie's eyebrow raise.
Yeah, that's Julie's jewels.
Julie's jewels.
You know what? I do have to say, when I do auditions now, I have a lot of eyebrow raises, and sometimes I try not to use that as takes because there's as the person's talking, I'll do this like.
That's so cool.
Here's the brilliant thing. If it feels right, do it. And guess what? You still have the bang over the one eyebrow that raises. So it's not like you're going dun dun dun, but you can still pop the bang. There you go. There you have it.
Never stop
Melinda
doing
Clark.
that.
Melinda Clark.
Well,
oh wait, I just fucking raised the roof. Oh my god, how old? I'm like Arsenio Hall.
I'll raise the roof.
I'll raise the roof.
Hey, it makes up for it now that you know what Riz means.
Now that I know that you're the spawn of Melinda Clark and Ernie.
The spawn. You know what? I am the spawn of them. I feel like I'm a perfect mix of the two of them.
Oh my god, you are.
And I am their spawn. And I'm their only spawn.
Yeah, that's true. She's loud.
And we're Notre Dame Knight alumni. I went to Notre Dame
alumni.
I was at Notre Dame when it was an all-boys school.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so I was a cheerleader, and we would do the Friday night games where they would bring a bunch of the older alumni. No, just older alumni from when it was an all-boys school, and they would talk to us, and they're like, yeah, I was here when it was an all-boys school. Like, I love that it's like this now, and that school has gone through many, many changes.
Yeah.
I was a yell leader. Because the 6 boys were yell leaders and the 6 girls were cheerleaders. And also, my date was homecoming queen.
Oh.
Proving that I knew how to cast, even then.
I was on homecoming court.
Well, had you been my date, you would have won.
You're right.
And you were a song leader, too.
Yeah, I was captain of the song team.
Yep. She had a completely different. I was just like a theater nerd. CG did like the whole like Friday night.
I had the real Friday Night Lights experience.
Yeah.
That football field on Friday nights is and was magical.
Yeah.
That is why Taylor Swift's music video of You Belong With Me was filmed on that field.
Huh?
Because it's beautiful.
Did not know that.
Yes, and they're wearing the Notre Dame Knights jersey, like cheer uniforms. In her, when she's like, he wears court shirt, I wear t-shirts.
How's that going?
Like,
I don't know.
Are there any actual people still watching, or are we just fucking talking?
No. We have like 4 people in the audience here.
I'm just like singing a Taylor Swift song. I don't know the words.
So sorry.
No worries.
That's
totally fine. In fact, Delara said, Patrick, thank you so much for sharing that story. I'm a huge Next to Normal fan, a musical Brian Yorkey did with Tom Kitt. And I had no idea Brian Yorkey worked on 13 Reasons Why and that he loves the OC.
Brian Yorkey created 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah. There you go. Hey, you guys in the audience, does anybody have any questions before we have to say goodbye?
People said, you guys are talking too much. I got to leave.
Did they really?
No.
Okay.
No. Imagine you guys are talking. You guys are yapping.
They're going to save it for the Zoom.
Me and my mom are certified yappers.
Mindy Mouse.
We love to yap.
Well, and actually, I knew how excited I was for the original podcast when we did Patrick. We did Peter, and then we did Josh, and then Patrick came on as a third episode, and that's when I was like, "Oh, this is going to be fun," because we hadn't connected in a way. The podcasting world, first of all, everyone and their brother and sister has a podcast now, but we do it because it's super fun to connect and tell these stories that we don't ever get a chance to do. So
I would just Zoom with you guys for shits and giggles.
Right.
So,
that would be so much fun.
Send me a Zoom link when you're bored, and we'll just.
That sounds so much fun.
I know. We'll have you. Yes, for sure. We'll have you back.
And get to work on the OC reboot so I can have my first acting gig.
Sign me up for that before I'm dead. Come on,
Patrick. Let's get it in the works.
No,
we can do it together.
You don't want to mess with that. It needs to be a spinoff.
A spinoff of younger people at Harbor. Julie's child grown up. Julie and Sandy and Kirsten's young children grown up.
Sophie Cohen.
Why does the character of Julie Cooper not go on The Real Housewives of the OC? That's what I want to watch.
I got offered that, but
she got offered it and said, "No, thank you."
I was like, "No, I don't. I can't do that because that's not me, and I don't."
But not as Melinda, as Julie.
As Julie,
because those hoes are acting too. So you go in there and act.
Yeah, let's call up Willa Holland and let's get back in there.
Misha and I'll show up. That'll be funny. That would be awesome. Oh my gosh, everyone. Thank you all so much for listening. Please be sure to check my Instagram stories and posts at the Melinda Clark for what episodes we're covering next. Will it be one of your favorites? Do you want to join us on the pod? If so, please go to speakpipe.com OCBitch and leave a voicemail or email us at
/OCBitch.
Sorry. speakpipe.com/OCBitch and leave a voicemail or email us at beyondtheocpodcast@gmail.com to let us know why and what makes it your favorite. We might play your voicemail on the show or ask you to come on live to discuss. If you'd like to watch the episode, check it out on Beyond the OC YouTube channel. You can leave comments there too.
If you want to be a part of the conversation, you can join our Patreon to get episodes early and ad-free and to discuss the previous week's episodes live on Zoom or be a part of our audience when we record. And join us every other week. And the next episode we'll be reviewing, number 37 in the countdown, is, drumroll please, Season 4, Episode 6, The Summer Bummer. And with that being said,
bye bitches.
Bye, bitches. Bye, #TechChick.